All right, going into our first match of the day between Sacrilege and Team Predators. A little bit of a rocky start today, but our first match is going to be on Clash at Black Cliff. So thank you for joining us today for some Guns of Icarus action. I need to actually unmute the game as well. Also, let me know if you want me to turn up the game volume. But first, we'll check out this first Sacrilege ship, the Hurricane Walter, a Mobula piloted by Tropo. We haven't seen this man in a very long time. It is a Hades Mobula, light flak Gatling on the inner wings, double Artemis on the outer wings. Their ally, the Iron Curtain, piloted by Communist Pony. It is a Hwacha fish, left side light carronade, right side Gatling gun. Their opponents, Team Predators. The Wretched Egg is a heavy carronade goldfish, left side Banshee, Carousel, right side Flamethrower. And finally, their ally, the Greasy Dream, a squid, piloted by Mighty Keb. It is a Gatling light flak squid with a rear light carronade. It looks like these teams are going to be engaging pretty quickly. Red is staying close to their spawn zone in the northern sector of the map. Greasy Dream poking out, looking for spots. Blue's definitely bringing a close range team composition, so they will be trying to close the distance, particularly on the Hurricane Walter, which is using that Hades double Artemis. And based on the way that Sacrilege is currently positioned, it does look like that the Predators are going to be splitting up. They're going for a flank. They're going to go around these two pieces of terrain on either side of Sacrilege. I really do hope that they are expecting this to happen and are able to react quickly enough. They do see the Wretched Egg. That is a cat that is running around in the background. Just ignore that cat. And it looks like Greasy Dream, their target's going to be the Iron Curtain. You see the Gatling engaging. I feel like they might have a little bit of difficulty. This squid does have a light flak on the right side. And in using that light flak, it's going to be within arming time, not able to do the maximum amount of damage. Yeah, so you see that light flak, just kind of, it's picking away at the Iron Curtain a bit, but not able to deal a huge amount of damage. At the same time, the Wretched Egg is kind of grinding down on the Hurricane Walter. They're having a little bit of difficulty maintaining the heavy carronade arcs. And you see now they get a balloon disable on the Hurricane Walter, but are forced upward by the Iron Curtain's Hwacha. Hurricane Walter needs to be careful here. They do not want to get stuck on any of this terrain. This is they want to make sure the engagement's happening with open air below them, so that when they lose their balloon, they have a much greater distance to fall before they start taking impact damage. And Greasy Dream does finally get the kill. Enough of those armed light flaks eventually adding up to take out the red goldfish. And now Hurricane Walter is in a pretty bad spot. Mobulas, unfortunately, not good solo ships against the more maneuverable options in the game. The goldfish and the squid, both very powerful against the Mobula. Because the Mobula's slow turning acceleration makes it difficult for them to keep up with the goldfish and squid's close range mobility. And dealing with two of them at the same time is almost impossible. So really a fantastic flank. I do believe also that the parts log may be gone. So please complain about that at feedback@musegames.com. As far as I know, there is no way to bring back the parts log once it disappears in Spectator, aside from restarting the game. So I can try to do that after this match. Yeah, this flak squid that Mighty Keb is bringing, a little bit of a I mean, so I've talked to him a little bit about this, and the theory is that armed light flak supposedly does more damage than greased, or excuse me, unarmed, armed, which is like, my brain is I haven't had my metaphorical morning coffee. Unarmed, excuse me, the unarmed light flak. His theory is that it does more damage than the Banshee, which I'm not sure of. I have not fact-checked that. Maybe somebody in the Twitch chat can do so. But that is why he is running this build currently. And of course, if you get outside of the arming time, then the damage climb is significant. Of course, that's a lot more difficult to do in a squid, which is typically more of a close-range ship. Blue team is split up. It looks like they want to try to cover the greatest scouting distance. You see them on either side of the map. And they do have spots here, and the way they're set up, they can actually go for another one of these potentially very effective flanks, hitting red team from both sides. And I do wonder how these ships want to split up. It does look like Iron Curtain, the Watchafish, is going to be going for the Squid, well as the Hurricane Walter against this Wretched Egg. And I'm not sure that's really going to work out. Mobula, with that big fat balloon, is extremely vulnerable to balloon disable, so this heavy carronade on the Wretched Egg is going to be very effective in a one-on-one scenario. So I'm really not sure if this is what Sacrilege wants to do, to split up these ships in this way. And Iron Curtain using that OP line gun. Man, Burst should not be that effective at that range. And Hurricane Walter getting some good flak shots. But yeah, there's one thing I always forget to keep in mind, that the Hwacha is so incredibly overpowered that it's still effective at that range, which it really should not be. But in doing so, it has allowed the Iron Curtain to re-engage the Wretched Egg, kind of pushing them out. And now both teams are jockeying for position. Wretched Egg looks like they're going to go for a ram, doing a little bit of balloon damage to the Iron Curtain, actually knocking the balloon out. A very nice ram from the Wretched Egg, pushing them away. And I feel like really either one of these Team Predator ships, since they've decided to go for high mobility team composition, either one of these is going to be pretty effective against the Mobula. But unfortunately, with the Hurricane Walter moving forward, they were able to team up with their ally to do enough damage to take out the Blue Goldfish, and with that, Greasy Dream is going to be forced out of this fight. And Greasy Dream, he's going to try to get out of here. And you see he's disengaging in reverse, trying to keep his engines protected. He knows the red team has a high amount of component disable with the combination of the Hwacha and the dual Artemis, so that means he wants to keep those engines protected. Now, Wretched Egg is going to be re-engaging into this fight. Looks like Iron Curtain has gotten a little separated from their ally Mobula. And this is potentially a bad scene here, because there are these pipes in the way. It's going to be a small amount of time before the Iron Curtain is able to fully re-engage. So if Blue Team can capitalize on this, the Hurricane Walter is already pretty heavily damaged. Hwacha coming out just in time, hitting the Wretched Egg, taking out their whole armor, forcing them up. I do wonder if Team Predators are aware of how damaged this Mobula is. But because if they can get one armor break, the red mob will go down very fast. So I'm surprised the Greasy Dream hasn't broken off to try to focus them. We may be able to see that now. Gatling coming out, targeting the Walter. Are we going... a lot of that going into the balloon. Bad clip of Gatling from the Greasy Dream. But the Hurricane Walter's armor is very low. With this next clip, I think they're going to be able to get the armor break. Now let's see if those light flaks can finish it off. Ooh. Watcha coming in, disabling all of the Greasy Dream's weapons. Man, I really feel like Hurricane Walter needs to try to disengage from, not disengage, but put some more distance between them and the Greasy Dream. Maybe get into a spot where they can use that Hades double Artemis, and where they're not, because that Gatling is a huge threat right now. Like, every time their armor breaks, they're that much closer. You know, once they get down to 1 or 2 light flak shots, it's going to be all over. And you see them trying to back away, but they're just unable to do so. Mobula does not have the vertical, or the, the horizontal acceleration to get away from a squid, and with that, Greasy Dream is able to catch up and finish them off. Iron Curtain trying to ram his way out of dodge. I don't think he's going to be able to, especially with the Wretched Curtain catching up. Once the Heavy Carronade gets engaged on the Red Goldfish, their balloon goes down. They're not going to have any way to escape. And yeah, this is a bad scene for Sacrilege right now, because with the loss of the Iron Curtain, or maybe not. Looks like Hurricane Walter is not going to be sticking back. He's choosing to engage immediately. They know they don't want to be put onto match point against the very strong Team Predators. I mean, this is one of the stronger teams that we've seen participating in these weekly Sunday community skirmishes, and going down 1-4 is not going to be a good spot. Sorry, this cat is running around and is very, very distracting. Hurricane Walter does manage to get the kill on the Goldfish, but that still means they are left alone with the Greasy Dream. I do wonder, though, if the Greasy Dream is going to be able to get a kill, because the Red Goldfish did go down first, so they will be spawning in very close here. So I don't think Greasy Dream wants to stick around and try to go for a kill, because I don't think they're going to be able to get one fast enough before the Iron Curtain comes in to support. And yeah, and with that Watcha, it's very clear to them now that they've overstayed their welcome. And they've kind of navigated themselves into a weird spot here. This is actually, there's an invisible wall in front of where the Greasy Dream is, so they're not going to be able to escape that way. So potentially a huge positioning flub from Mighty Keb here, because they've now exposed their engines to the Watcha. All the engines are down, most of the guns are down. Hurricane Walter is probably going to be engaging the Gatling and the Hades. And the Mobula does have a light flak as well, so the kills are going to be fast and furious here with a well-timed armor break. Yeah, definitely a very large mistake from the Squid pilot, just trying to pick up that kill in red spawn, unable to do so, and exposing himself to a 2v1 against Sacrilege. Wretched Egg has already spawned in. He's just hanging out. He's going to wait for his ally. Because that is definitely one way you can throw away a lead in this game, and we see it pretty frequently. If you get the, you go up to 4 points, you get that bloodlust, and you want that kill so bad, but by charging in one by one, you're just going to end up wiping. And in this game, we tend to refer to that as meat grinding. Alright, it does look like Greasy Dream has spawned back in. And considering how they've given up two, they gave Team Predators gave up 2 kills in that last fight. It looks like they're going to be approaching this next one with a little more conservation. They want to make sure they sew this one up and they're able to get that final kill, because I mean that would really really be a tragedy for them going up 4-1 and then throwing away the game, and they definitely do not want to do that. So what I expect them to be doing here is potentially dual focusing the Mobula. The Mobula, the Hurricane Walter, is definitely going to be the more vulnerable of the two ships. It will be the fastest kill, and considering that the Predators only need to get one, they don't necessarily need to wipe the whole team. Or potentially, what they're actually doing here is they're using the Wretched Egg as a distraction, and with both red ships focusing them, that gives the Greasy Dream free reign to come up behind the Hurricane Walter. Gatling's going to be coming out here, but I'm not sure how fast they're going to be able to get a kill with that light flak, and the Wretched Egg, in the meantime, is taking an enormous amount of damage. With this next armor break, Hunter just barely keeping the Wretched Egg alive. And while the Greasy Dream, they do have free reign on Hurricane Walter, their ship build is not getting the fastest kills here with that unarmed flak. And they've exposed their ally to a lot of damage, but finally once again just adding up enough of those unarmed flaks to kill that mob. I'm very surprised that the Wretched Egg didn't actually go down there. I think at the last moment the Iron Curtain peeled off to go deal with the squid, which gave them just enough time to rebuild that armor, stay alive, and get the final kill.